أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ومولانا محمد المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم مدد يا سيدي يا رسول الكريم انظر حالنا واشفالنا وعبدنا بمددكم ونظركم مدد يا سيدي يا سلطان الأولياء مع شيخ عبد الفايز الداغستاني سلطان الشيخ محمد نازم Haqqani و Mawlana الشيخ Hisham Qabbani مدد الحق حجة الله المخلص. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah that we're in the holy month of Sha'ban under the lights and the blessings of Allah and Sayyidina Muhammad under the nazar of AwliyAllah, and that ana abdukul ajeez, a da'if, a miskeen, a zalim, a jahal, and that I'm nothing and asking for Allah's rahmah and mercy to continuously dress and grace us, forgive us and bless us inshaAllah, to prepare us for the holy month of Ramadan. InshaAllah, from Mawlana Shaykh's inspirations and teachings that Feekum Rasulullah that Prophet is within you, that Prophet is amongst us, that from Surah Al-Baqarah ayah 151 inshaAllah, and then we'll go into that. Sadaqallahu al-Azim wa barakta Rasul al-Kareem. So even as we have sent unto you a messenger from amongst yourself, wa feekum means within yourself, and they also translated as from amongst yourself means in your proximity, who recites that light and the nur of Prophet recites unto you from Allah's revelations, causes you to grow and rushd and to develop, teaches you of the scriptures, the kitab and the wisdoms of the kitab, holy kitab of Allah, and teacheth you that which you knew not. Means the realities of the heavens, of malakut and the world of light. Alhamdulillah that Allah reminding for us that we're not alone and that Prophet is within us, and an understanding that the light of Sayyidina Muhammad because from malakut and from the world of light is a completely different understanding than the world of form and the world of light. If there's a light that's amongst you, that light is within you. There's a fusion where the light diffuses and mixes and enters into that ocean. Light doesn't stay separate, form stays separate, light diffuses within each other. If you have a green light and a white light, it begins to merge within each other. And that reality that Prophet is Allah is inspiring within us is that light is within you. It's your responsibility to develop that light, and the love of Sayyidina Muhammad means like a little flame in which you begin to, and awliyaullah come into our lives to spark that light, to develop that light with the love of Prophet, and the fastest way is with durood al-sharif, to constantly praise upon Prophet so that you have the nazar and the reflection of Prophet upon your life. And then Allah describing that the benefit of that, the reality of that is that that light and that reality begin to teach you from Allah's revelations, begins to teach you from the holy kitab, begins to develop and to nourish you so that your light will grow and that you'll be prosperous with your soul, and begin to teach you from Divinely realities that which you knew not. And that is the goal that Allah wants for us from this light that I have given into you of the love of Sayyidina Muhammad. It's like a little flame, it requires a development so that that light will grow. That light will be the light of all mercy, that light will be the light of all success. And a reminder for ourselves is those that were given that light, develop that light, nourish that light, they carry the Muhammadan reality upon dunya. And from what they call awliyaullah and saintly souls, 124,000 whom Allah granted their wilayat, and they may know it, they may not know it, but they carry the light of Sayyidina Muhammad on earth. That ayah is describing when Allah is teaching us throughout Holy Qur'an is that keep the company of pious people, have consciousness and keep the company of pious people. Then this Holy Qur'an is beginning to teach us that that light that you're trying to nourish, there are 124,000 on this earth that their light is been nourished. They are carrying the Muhammadan light. They carry the Muhammadan light, and as a result your life in their proximity changes. The knowledges you begin to acquire from Allah's kitab is from the light of Prophet. That's why I say that don't worry about which wali and what the rank of the wali, and I have a wali back in Pakistan and I have a wali there, wherever you are lucky enough in life to meet one of these 124,000, it is the light of Sayyidina Muhammad. Means that's why we begin to understand why tariqs, the whole school is based on adab, because they have all the naat and all the reflections, that if you don't know your murshid, how are you going to know Sayyidina Muhammad? What, you're running to Medina to do what when you don't know the guide who you're with, the light that he's carrying? You don't see it, you don't recognize it, you're not respectful to it. All of that is within that guide. They carry the light of Sayyidina Muhammad where Allah said, Feekum. One feekum is that you're developing that light by one of those guides. They want with their light to spark your heart, to bring your light of Sayyidina Muhammad, to develop your light of Sayyidina Muhammad, and all of us can testify that when we came in the proximity of these pious people, our light and our love for Prophet increased, exponentially increased. Our understanding and respect for Prophet increased. Our understanding of Allah's holy kitab, Allah's holy uncreated Divinely words, all of those illuminations and lights and all of them increased not by our cleverness but by their light in which they sparked within the heart of the believer. Allah said, Feekum, they're with you. It's in you that light, it's in you, because these are the two realities. It's one who's trying to develop, and the other understanding that they want for us tonight is the one who has been developed. Because we are a selfish creature and we think about ourselves all the time, and every lecture is about ourselves, but they're teaching, no, the one who's sparking that light in you also from that understanding. The one who his soul and their souls are in the heart of Prophet. The soul of awliya like a drop, the whole of creation is Muhammad Rasulullah. So then where are their souls located? If we call them ashiqeen, they must be in the heart of Prophet. Their light and their arwah in this huge ocean, there is a center where the qalb, qul to the ba is a power. The source of that power is what we understand as a heart. Their arwah and their lights and the souls that they have is in the heart of that light. It's circumambulating in the oceans of salawats on Prophet. They are in the oceans of power, and they walk amongst you with their soul from that ocean. If you understand that the light that they are carrying is from the light of Prophet, because there's only one treasure from Allah, not multiple. Allah's only treasure is to Prophet. Qanzallah. The treasure of Allah is only Sayyidina Muhammad. Whatever ulum and knowledges and realities and karamah and gifts and blessings any saint has, no matter which saint you love, it's from Prophet. It's the Muhammadan light that manifests within them to their darajats. The greater like fountain where Mawlana describing the Qasida Buddha. Some take in oceans, some take in handfuls of that light. Some take maybe a spoon from Prophet. But Allah Prophet generous, He gives more than a spoon to people. So depending upon how much of the Muhammadan light is dressing them, how much of the lights and noors and realities and ulum are manifesting from them. But what Mawlana Shaykh wants for us to understand is when that Muhammadan light is amongst you, don't worry about the different ranks and who your shaykh is, but love the one you're with. Love the one who's in front of you that carries that Muhammadan light. You will be held accountable to Allah and to His Rasul. And on a day when all the ego is destroyed and all the veils are brought down, and they describe for you that that light was in front of you, that whom you claim to love and that you profess to love and proudly went around carrying a banner saying, you are carrying the sunnah of Sayyidina Muhammad, then you feel ashamed. So that's why the turuqs come into our lives and teach everything is adab, be very careful. Everything of the schools of tariqah are an adab. Why? Because you're dealing with a very precious light of Sayyidina Muhammad, and whatever you're doing for the sake of Prophet. Make your intention very clear that your bayah is to Allah to fulfill Allah's ahad and covenant upon your soul, and the one who can complete that bayah is Sayyidina Muhammad. So as a result, anywhere on earth you go, you take the hand of awliyaullah so that to reach Prophet, not to reach that wali, to reach Sayyidina Muhammad. And Sayyidina Muhammad is like the ocean, because all of them are like rivers, some faster, some smaller, but they all end up into the ocean, and that ocean is Prophet. And Allah its sahib and its owner. Means that everything of that light is then our lives. So those who became successful in their tariqah life in the way of Ahl Haqqaiq, they realized that that's the light of Sayyidina Muhammad within my guide. And if I want to be true and I don't want to be a liar and I definitely don't want to be a hypocrite. Don't claim to love Sayyidina Muhammad but you act differently to them. Why? Because you're blind and you don't see. And that's why the knots come back, hey, if you don't see, you don't know your guide, you're not going to know Sayyidina Muhammad. Means you'll die blind and you'll be raised blind, because that level wasn't achieved. But those whom have khushya and softness within their heart, their love is sincere, that for them everything is Prophet, and they want the light of Prophet. So then they come into our lives and they teach the schools of tarbiyah, teach you to love who you with, because even he's a small one, he's carrying the light of Prophet. If he's a great one, he's carrying the light of Sayyidina Muhammad. Either way you're going to be tested by the light of Prophet. How you respond when that teaching comes, you're responding to the light of Sayyidina Muhammad. How you keep your tashrif and your respect, that's why you know it's a finishing school. Why they're so formal? Why do you keep all these manners? Why do you have all these rules? Because there have to be imtihan, there have to be tests so that there can be grades. With grades there can be darajats. If there's no testing, there's no grades, there's no maqams, there's no darajats. That's why you have school, otherwise why don't we just make everybody a doctor? It's much easier that way, they'll all get a nice salary. Then you have bad doctors and good doctors. It doesn't work that way for dunya, imagine then for akhirah. Allah said, I want to give you a very big darajat. Do you really love Sayyidina Muhammad? And there are those who are very sincere and say, yes. And if you love and your love is sincere, you would have seen the Nur Muhammad in that guide, and in everything that guide does is filled from the light of Prophet. Whatever you're eating is from that light of knowledges, of realities, that rizq and the coming upon your soul that ayah is describing. Allah's describing, not we are describing. Allah's is through the Feekum, through that one who is appearing to you from the heart of Prophet. Means like a telescope, they are being sent out from the heart of Prophet to be amongst people. That what? By that light of Sayyidina Muhammad you're understanding Holy Qur'an because of their light. Many when they enter into an area, everybody begins to see Prophet. It's not from you and it's not from anything that you achieved. But one of those Feekum appeared, and that is the light of Prophet. There are 124,000 darajats of the image of Prophet. The one that you see is not the one that Sultan and Awliya takes, it's impossible. Means what Prophet hears from Allah nobody can achieve. What Sahabi and Ahlul Bayt who were Sahabi of Prophet, what did they see and what did they hear of the qudra of Prophet's holy voice? We can't take that dress. What they achieved, what Allah gave them of a rank of what they heard of the holy voice of Prophet and beatific visions of light from the highest levels of the stations of power. And then tabi'een wa tabi'een and all those, means in the understandings of sainthood, same. The Sultan receives the face from Prophet directly because that's all the power. Anyone move into that proximity, qashya will be dead. Their soul can't take that. So it means bardan wa salaman, that each of their faces is taking a capacity of that light from the Muhammadan reflection above them. So each one is reflecting a Muhammadan light onto creation. 124,000 of these reflection towers upon earth. For us to understand, and it's of no disrespect, it's like a cellular tower. You are being prepared with a nice phone, and now they're smartphones. You have all the nice buttons, all the nice gadgets, everything in the zikr is being preparing the soul, preparing the characteristic. All of the imtihans and the practices is to give good characteristic for what? For this signal to be sent. Nobody receiving direct signal from Allah other than shaitan's imagination. That's all shaitan wanted. So I'm not following any of you guys, I take directly from Allah. He's incorrect and he was thrown out. Ati'ullah wa ati' Rasul means then Prophet is taking from Allah the qudra. The qul of Allah said, even I put it onto Mount Everest it would be dust, but I send it upon your heart. The reality of Prophet takes that qudra. Then the 124,000 Prophets, 124,000 Sahabi, 124,000 of the Ahlul Bayt, and then they send it out to Shuhada wa Saliheen, and those are with Allah and they carry that light, and wherever they go they're like a satellite as a result of the reflection coming upon them through their face. Their face takes from the face of the Muhammadan reflection above them, which is the saint in that area, that's the highest. So you have big towers and small towers. Small towers so that you lose no connectivity from wherever you're going. But there are towers that run an entire continent. There are towers that run just a city or a village. Means out of these 124,000 they are covering the earth. Feekum, and their whole school is based on manners. It's not for you to worry about the darajat of that wali, that's Allah's responsibility. But what Allah is going to ask you is that Muhammadan light was amongst you. What did you do with it? Did you nourish it? Did you respect it? Did you love it? Did you constantly keep the company of it? For if you truly understood the light of it, you would have never left it alone. Because you feel the proximity of Prophet, you feel the love of Sayyidina Muhammad, you feel the emanations of Sayyidina Muhammad, and that becomes the spiritual path. That becomes the reality of what they're conveying to us, that feekum, one is your approach on how to nourish the light within your heart. But the one whom already been nourished, he's actually been dispersed and dispatched from the heart of Prophet to be with you. And so Allah said, don't worry, don't be anxious and concerned that I'm not able to go to Medina to the headquarters, but Medina's already with you, but what are you doing with it? And you're accountable for it. And wherever they go, people are being tested by it. That, oh, you are calling to be ashiqeen and you're reciting so many beautiful poetries, but yet there's a feekum, there's maybe a Muhammadan nur amongst you of which you are not seeing it, and you're not hearing it, and you're not feeling it. You have eyes to see but yet you don't see, and you have ears to hear but you're not hearing. So then what's the benefit of all your practices? It means you're not reaching a point of sincerity where you're understanding that the pride has gone down and the bad character has gone down, and all that's left within the heart is love of Prophet. If that love was so sincere, as soon as they close their eyes they would have seen the image of Sayyidina Muhammad. There are children who see, not the adults. The children go back home and tell their parents, that I saw Prophet there, I saw Mawlana Shaykh there, I saw so and so there. Because they are mazloom, they're clean, they don't have, they're raised on dhikr and mafi. But the parents don't, because the ego is blocking everything, hasad blocks everything. Means then for us is a reminder that feekum is that light is amongst us. We're searching a life to find one of those lights and dedicate our life to that light, to the love of Prophet. Whatever you do to that light, it reaches. That's why we were teaching about one atom. If you are good to one atom of Prophet, it immediately notifies Sayyidina Muhammad. Even they say when you hear the name of Prophet you kiss your heart, an angel comes and gives that kiss and delivers that kiss to Prophet. There's not an action of love that Allah doesn't have a hisab for it. Because this is only ashiqeen, these are not the people of amal. You do your amal because Allah ordered it. This is not where we're going to get our reward. This is only through love. Only through love can this be accomplished, and only through love can this exist, because they had such a love for Prophet that an atomic bond was created. So go back to your physics books, that only through love a bond was created. They released a negative charge and two elements came together. Only through love of Prophet you release the bad characteristic, Allah will take from your atomic reality and attach it to Prophet. If that one atom is attached to Prophet and Prophet begins to make a nazar upon that, begin to make salawat upon that, your light in a matter of a second will reach the stations in which is unimaginable and unachievable and has nothing to do with amal, but was the gift in which Allah gave to Prophet. So means He gives us that light, gives us that way, gives us that responsibility that light is amongst you. That what are you going to do with that light? How are you going to respect that light? How are you going to nourish that light? How are you going to develop yourself amongst that light? We pray that Allah open the blessings of Sha'ban, and from the blessings of Sha'ban to open the realities of Holy Qur'an in the holy month of Ramadan. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifoon wa salaamun al mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen bi hurmati Muhammadan Mustafa wa basir.
سيدنا النبي سيدنا النبي سيدنا النبي سيدنا النبي